Hello and welcome to Popcorn and Perspective. This is the place where you will not only enjoy buttered popcorn, but we will also dive into the world of films. We are your host, Chantel,
And I'm Chris.
and we are here to share our insights, our on new. Let me try this again, y'all. Our new releases and timeless classics. So get ready to experience movies like never before as we offer our confident perspective. So, welcome to today's episode. So, this time around, it's going to be a big one as of the year 2026, but we're going to push rewind on 2025 and talk about our favorite films of last year. But first, before we get into any kind of trivia or any kind of fun, let's just dive into. Oh, sorry. Before we dive into deeper perspective, you can follow me on Twitter, or of course, if you want to call it X, at underscore Akira XO, and on Letterbox at Edna Mode.
Yes. And you can follow me on Twitter and Letterbox under the Hazel Eyed Movie Guy at both Twitter and Letterbox.
All right, y'all. So let's get into it. So in 2025, we had to say goodbye to a streaming series giant, which became a global phenomenon in its own right. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, let me give you a little bit more. A journey that started in 2016 in Hawkins, Indiana, with Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will, and a trip to the Upside Down. So, of course, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're talking about Stranger Things. Almost a decade and 5 seasons later, we're finally saying goodbye to our favorite characters that we literally grew up with and loved. So, brother, let's go round and round in the Upside Down. What did you think of the final season?
Honestly, I loved it. And I didn't say that lightly because when you end a show like Stranger Things, it's almost impossible because like you said, when something has lived up with you for this long and you grew up with it, an ending is going to split the room. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. But season 5 felt like the Duffers knew exactly what story they were trying to finish. This season, to me, wasn't about trying to shock us every 5 minutes. It was more about resolution, choice, and courage. And that's why it worked for me. There was so many good to go with it. Like the emotional payoffs, they nailed that. The scale was huge, and Hawkins finally felt like the battlefield it had been, since season 1 they had built it to be. But the show never forgot that Stranger Things was always about people and friends and trauma first and love, but more more than anything, the trauma of it all. The final comfort, the final confrontation with Vecna wasn't as spectacular as I would have liked it to be, and wasn't as long as I would like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it was psychological, and everyone was fighting the thing that had hunted them the longest, from guilt, fear, self-doubt, grief, and that felt like it was earned from 5 seasons of the build-up. Mm-hmm. I also love that the show didn't fall into the trap of trying to outdo itself by being too over the top and nothing but spectacular. Some of the strongest moments weren't the explosions or the monsters or the fighting. They were the conversations that the people was having. And it wasn't perfect. And that's, that's what everything that's made. So at times the pacing felt a little uneven. You can feel the weight of them trying to wrap it up. And they had so many characters in one season. A few of the arcs could have used more room to grow and this is what's happening. And some of the fan favorite dynamics didn't get as much focus as I wanted. And some viewers wanted more answers, and I was one of them viewers. I was definitely one of them viewers. And like cleaner answers. Like you gave me a little answer, but it was like, that don't really make sense. Can you but season 5 leans into everything that the originality of it, and everything was tied up in a bow. But I think one of the biggest things that might have frustrated me as far as the endings was Erica's ending. I think she deserved a better ending than just being a cannon confetti person. Because I don't even know what you call it, a confetti Super Bowl person. She was one of the best characters brought into the show, and they minimized her ending so bad. It was like she just handed Will a piece of a newspaper and was off the show one day. Like, no, she deserves so much better. But the arc that I enjoyed the most, and I know a lot of people found this confrontation like not needed and stuff, but Wills. And I know like his coming out moment, and people like, oh, it wasn't needed. They didn't have time for it. It felt out of place. But I couldn't disagree more because that moment wasn't a side story. It was the point. Like Will's entire life has been defined by fear. Fear of being different, fear of being seen, fear saying the thing out loud. And let's not, and this is what really gets me. Let's not forget that fear is what Vecna feeds on. Like Vecna doesn't attack people for anything other, like he preys on the parts of them they're ashamed of, the secrets they bury, and the truths that they're afraid to face. So when Will finally says his truth out loud, when he stops carrying it alone, that's not just a coming out scene, like coming out of the closet, I need y'all to know something. No, it's a big moment in his life and in the fight, because that's a character breaking free from Vecna's grip. Like that speech was powerful because it was like dramatic. It wasn't like dramatic over the top. It was just raw, honest, and you saw that acting and trembling in him. And the most important part comes right after that when Will says to 11, okay, I'm ready to go with you now. I can go with you. We can go face Vecna. Because before he said, no, I don't think I can go. But then that happened and he was like, I can go. And it's not because he all of a sudden became Rambo and was brave and everything. No, it was because he no longer was trapped in that fear that was holding him back, that Vecna could attack him for. And that's why that scene was so powerful to me. And it completes Will's arc from the scared kid in the woods to someone who finally understands that being different was never the problem that he had. It was hiding from it. Because I remember, I don't know what season it was, but Mike and him was talking about Mike's relationship with 11. And Mike said, it's not my fault you don't like girls. And Will was like, what? And that was kind of a, like, I don't think Mike said it in a way to like point out that he was different in that way, but Mike said it in a way like, I see that you don't interact with, females like that. And so that was one of the strongest pieces of dialogue in the entire series, despite the timing. But because of it, it was the emotional key that unlocked the final battle. So that is my take on season 1. On season 5 and why I enjoyed it so much. Stranger Things didn't just tell us how the story ends. It showed us how these kids finally learned how to live. And the ending of it with them playing Dungeons and Dragons and crying as they put their books up. I mean, that just, and the next generation coming in, that ended it all perfectly. So it didn't wrap up perfectly, but it wrapped up perfectly enough to put a nice little bow on it.
All right.
Sorry if that was lengthy, but it's a lot going on when you got 5 seasons of these kids.
No, it's all right. I'm like, it's like you said your piece. So for me, I'm like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I'm like, it's the last season. It's like, let's wrap this up. Like, let's get a move on. Because I'm like, we should not have been sitting here for like 10 years. You might say it's been 10 years. Like the first season, it's like, dog, how many other shows have ended before then? I'm like, Game of Thrones ended before they did. And they had 8 seasons. Like, what were we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like, look, it's like, I get it. It's like, I understand. It's like they had other obligations, whatever. But I'm like, we looked at these kids as actual kids when they first started. Now they're looking like 30 and having mortgages and families and stuff. Like,
and some of them have kids.
Exactly. You got Millie Bobby Brown got married and got a kid. Like, dog, like, hello, like your main star got a kid and she's married. Like what's going on? But anyway, past all that, because that just hurt the hell out of me. Also, I didn't like the fact that they broke this shit down in 3 parts. Like, this whole mess, like, we did not need 3 parts. Like, just do it weekly or just throw that bitch out like y'all did before. Like, it's like either do it weekly or just throw it all out at once. Like, there's no point of this anticipation that was building up. And for me, I don't like, this is so hard because it's like the anticipation was there now. Like, it was there for me. Like, I was excited. It was just I don't know. It was just, I don't know. But if the anticipation was there, I was excited. I couldn't wait. But I think it was a little low because it was just like, oh, this is the last season. Like, in a sense, I was like, I wasn't ready to say goodbye yet. But I'm like, it's time to say goodbye. I'm like, before you know it, these guys are going to be 50. And it's like, all right, we can't keep having these guys in high school for the rest of their life. So, but when it came, like the first 3 episodes, okay, I was like, wait, no, not the first three, first four. I forgot. It was four, then it was three, then it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first half, the volume one, I loved it. It started off great because, of course, you needed that build up of like where everybody's been at, like what's been going on in the 18 months of Hawking since we last seen you guys, which has actually been 2 years. So stupid. But it was just, I like that whole scene where it was like, oh, it just feels like, it just feels like the gang again. Like, we're doing Morse codes. Like, we're going to play this song. And then this is how you guys are going to learn how we're going to do the next crawl. And
yeah.
And it was just fun to just see like everybody back in like their elements again. But it was also kind of weird to see like Dustin and Steve like going at it now because like the whole thing with like Eddie and stuff is like, which I get, I understand, and it's just like this is how he's dealing with his own grief, and so it's like, so I love the fact that we're still dealing with that, like you said, like the grief and the trauma of everything that everybody's going through because it's like everybody's got some PTSD going on, like everybody. It's like everybody has their own like beef with Vecna. So it's like okay, it's like how is this gonna turn out? But them first 4 episodes were solid. They were really solid. We were figuring everything out again. We were seeing where everybody's head was at. We were seeing like, okay, this is how everybody's running everything. And what I also loved is that just seeing Steve and Robin together, because I don't know why they ended up becoming like my dynamic duo. Like ever since they were put together since the 3rd season, like I know that they were supposed. I know they explained it like Robin was supposed to have like a thing for Steve, but then they like switched it all up.
Yeah,
which I love. I'm happy that they're better off as friends anyway. But I just love seeing those two working together, and I love that it's like the only way that like Steve can get a job is like if Robin gets the job. Like as long as like Robin gets the job, it's like Steve is like right there. Like Steve is like her right hand, like her right hand man. But I just love the fact that we get to see the kids again in school. But my thing is this: it's like we're like they're seniors. It's like how are these niggas seniors? I'm like, how are these kids seniors? I'm like trying to figure this out. It's like how are these guys still in school? I'm like all this stuff that's going on. I'm sorry. I'm just like thinking like just.
I hate to interrupt you, but since you say that, like as soon as the season ended, I was like, Max been dead for so long, pretty much. Who was doing her homework? Who passed the test for her? Why didn't she flunk out?
Like, who did her SATs?
Exactly. But okay, that's that.
Okay, sorry, y'all. Getting off topic, but I just thought it felt like we were going back to like what season 1 felt like, just with the like the action, and I guess you could say like the bloodiness and just the camaraderie of it all. And it just felt like we were back with the small groups again. It wasn't like everybody was like all over because like in season 4 we were like California, Arizona, like
and underground,
and it's like Russia, and it's like dog. It's like what are we doing here? It's like we need to keep this in Hawkins. This is where it needs to be at. It needs to stay in Hawkins. Like, but anyway, I just love that we were just getting back to like everybody again and seeing familiar faces and just like seeing how they were going to be able to take on Vecna. And then when you get to, I think it was episode 4. I would have to say episode 4 was like my favorite one of the season, just with the guys like trying to like save the kids and everything, like the comedic, like the just like everything about it was comedic with like Derek with the kids and stuff when he's talking about doing like the visual stuff and he's like popping them in the head with a ruler. It's like he was like my go-to in like that episode because it was like he was one of the kids that wasn't like believing anything until he saw it for himself. And then he was just like telling these, when they were finally caught in that episode, and he was like telling the soldiers, like, he's like, not to like bust your bubble, but it's like, you can't save shit. Like, he was like letting them know, like, you can't do nothing to save us right now. And so, but that scene was really great, like, because I think they said they did it in like, yeah, that's what it's called, Sorcerer. I was trying to think what it was called, and I didn't know that's what it was called because I was getting ready to say something completely different. But yeah, chapter 4, Sorcerer. I love that episode because I think that whole scene where they all get caught and they come up, it's like I think it was just like just in one take, they did that entire like scene. And I was just like, I was like, that whole scene was just solid because it's like we get to see Joyce like be a mother, like because it's like we didn't really get to see Joyce like in this season like at all. And I'm like, this season like literally Like that first season was literally like Joyce, like her force, like driven, like trying to find her son and what happened to her son. And now it's like, okay, it's like, where is she at in this season? Like we're just seeing her like sporadically. Like we're not like seeing her like we need to be seeing her because
Yeah.
it's like this started because of her child. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just
This is
like,
two of your kids going to this.
yeah,
Two
so
of
it's
your
like,
kids.
yeah, so it's just like it was kind of hard just to like sit back and be like, okay, I'm like, where the hell is Joyce at? But like seeing Joyce like pop up like in this episode, just being like a mom, like that warrior that she is, and like even like protecting the other kids that are not even hers, and that's what I
Yeah.
love about her because she's a mother. Like she doesn't matter if you're not her, if you're a kid or not. Like if you are like in that group of them kids, like she's going to protect at all costs. Like she was even going up against Vecna, and it's like this woman is human, and it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's like, what are you doing, Joyce? I was like, please don't get yourself killed out here. But I just loved how, like, especially that third episode, like the turnbow trap. Like I love that whole entire scene when everybody is like getting the house ready. Like there's no words, no nothing. It's just them just getting the house set up, and I just love. But this is the thing that always drove me nuts. But okay, so before I get to that, so the first half, great, because we get to see Will use his power. He taps into that after he has that brief conversation with Robin, like because she knows, like just like how Jonathan knows his brother, like she already knew, like, oh, like you don't like girls, okay, so let me talk to you real quick. So it's like she literally just got to him like for a split second, and it was like that was all it took was that split second for her to just say them few words that she had to say. Because
Yeah.
it's like when she said when she said she was finally able to be herself, that's when she was able to be free. So that's when Will like literally just like tapped in and was like, all right, like let's just, like this is where like in the parts of my life where I was free. So it's just like just watching Will just be able to feel all those emotions and then to be able to tap into the hive mind and just use it and twist it on Vecna. That blew my mind. Like that whole episode just like literally blew my mind. But then when you get to the three after it, the second half, I felt like they were rushed. Like,
oh yeah,
them first four episodes felt like they actually had like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, ABC all the way to Z. But then when it got to 5 and 7, they were just like,
Netflix was like, hey y'all, we done had them waiting long enough. We need to wrap this up.
And what's crazy is that I keep hearing because I meant to watch the documentary before we did this. They had like a 2-hour documentary where they're talking about it. They said that when they wrote that first episode, they didn't have an ending yet. They did not know what they were doing. They had no clue what they were doing. But then it was like you had Netflix, like breathing down on that. It's like, hey, what y'all doing? And it's like you can't rush something that's like this intricate. Like this is something that they have been building up since 2016. This is something that you just can't drop the ball on. And I felt like, unfortunately, they dropped the ball. I'm like, they did what they could. I'm like, I love what they gave us. I appreciated it. Like, it was like the ending, like you said, they like wrapped it up with the bow. Like, just seeing the kids, go off on their own. But I just didn't like how they got to, I guess you could say, to the abyss. There's no Demogorgons. There's no demo dogs. There's no demo bats. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. And
they went to Cancun. They was on vacation.
They went on vacation. They just chilling right now. They went into hibernation. They're sleeping. Like you did, like they just walking around in the abyss, and you don't think that have stuff swarming them. Like that was the only thing I didn't like about that because I was just like, what is this? It's like they're just there, and there's like no like dire like need to like get to somewhere safe because it's like they're just walking and talking and just nothing until they get to where they need to get to find the hive mind to get to the kids. And I was just like, because I think they had another reason why they weren't there, but I was just like, dude, whatever. It's like y'all just talking out the ass at this point because it's like y'all don't have no reasons for it. And so like you said, there's like a lot of plot lines that are like open. Like they didn't even close them off. Like where the hell did the Turnbows go? Like we only see Derek. Where did his parents and his sister go? Like
they still in the garage.
They're still in that barn. Yep, they still in that barn, tied up.
They ain't ate and got no water in it. They
probably dead now. Like they did. It's like they probably already dehydrated. ready to die on their last breath, just hanging in the barn, just like where did our parents like we see that was the wildest thing, and it's like we still see Derek at the end, but it's like okay, but where's his family at? We don't
Where
even see him like
either one.
so it's like who he living with, man? Like
Derek said, "Suck my fat one in that barn," and then everything else got forgot about. Like, okay, yeah, we bringing him on definitely. Let's just forget he even got parents.
it's like his parents are gone. Like they just
Yeah.
said, whatever, dog. Like we don't know where they at no more.
And the sister was Erica's best friend, so I mean, you would think that
you would have thought so, but nah, we're just like we're gonna forget about them. And then on top of that, they really never really explained why Vecna needed all them kids in Holly. Like they never explained what the main reason of like we get that okay, he feeds off of their fear and all that stuff, but he really didn't explain what he needed them for. Like
yeah, I know at one point he said that they were weaker and was easier to control, but then it's like
for what?
yeah, then it's like, yeah, okay, I definitely understand that part because they don't know what's going on. They're scared. You can control it. And like when he was in the house telling them, hey, it's Max who's the monster, they were easily manipulated. So I understand all that. But then, like you said, I was like, why? Like, is he still in a life force? Is he like sacrificing them to the yeah, exactly.
This was like what was the actual like it was just dumb. I was just like, okay. I'm like I guess, but because I think even the cast didn't even know. Like they were like, what is she here for? Like why is she here? Like what are we doing with this kid? Like what's going on? And then I just like, and speaking of how like I felt bad for her when Max just straight up just left her. She was like, okay, girl, like this is my
like,
road. You gonna have to find yours. I gotta go this way. Like it's been real, but see you when I see you. Like
in all honesty, if we were in that little red spiky universe and I saw my portal open, I wouldn't even have said that to her. I just would have been like, going. Holly would have been like,
I'm like, it's like peace, just out.
I would have ran like Ricky on Boys in the Hood. I would have been gone. I would have been gone.
That's why I was like, why are we standing here like having a powwow? Exactly. Like we having a conversation like it's a podcast. Like, no, you need to get to that light. You need to get there to Lucas. Like, I need you to wake up, girl. Like, it's like, why are we prolonging this? Like, why is she like taking a jog? Like, why is she like taking like a lovely jaunt down the street? Like, we are not
frolicking. Knew where they was going too. Like, he knew where they was going. I don't understand what took him so long to get there. Like,
exactly. This was like, what's going on right now? I'm like, girl, speed that up. I'm like, I need your feet to be hitting like the ground, like fast, knees to chest, like.
It got to the point where I was like, first of all, I was like, do they got time for this? And then it got to the point I was like, all right, just forget it. Max is not getting out. Vecna's going to come. And it's just because, I mean, you sitting here talking about the last 6 episodes of Friends and like, let's go, wrap this up. Like, I was so mad.
I was just like, girl, wrap this up. Like, we got to go. Like, what are we doing? I was just sitting there just like, okay. I think that's what I did too. I think I actually yelled at my screen. I was like, we don't have time for that. I was like, we gotta go. Like,
I did. I was like, go. And to bring up another point that you said earlier before I forget, move past it. When you was like those devil bats and all that was gone, that kind of diminishes Eddie's death because why? Like, if they're not there now, then he didn't have to die. They should have been like, they should have at least made it so that they had some kind of sonic device that made them go away or something. Like show them for a little bit, turn the device on there, going, okay, that explains it. But don't just make it so like you specifically made these creatures just to kill Eddie and nobody else. Like, and Eddie was a loved character, so
right. It was just like it was nuts. But also, what I think, where was it? I think the other thing I did not like was that okay, you give Robin a girlfriend, right? Where the hell did she go afterwards? For real. It's like, where did Vicky go? Like, we literally just see her with her during, what was that one episode where they all get, like, almost, like, trapped up in the hospital before Karen got there. It was like, that was the last time we seen.
She was at the radio station with Max in the wheel. That's the last time.
Yeah, that's the last time we saw her. My bad. Oh, see, that's how bad that was because I forgot where she was at. Yeah. But yeah, it was like literally we see her and they're like together and like she was pining for this girl since the last season and she finally gets with her. only for her to like not be in the season, like at the end with her. Like y'all, like what happened? Did they break up? Did they like what happened? Are they like together? Like we don't know because
She
they
said, "Your
didn't
life
tell
too
us nothing."
dangerous. You
Yeah,
dealing
she
with
was like,
Martha or
"Girl, yeah."
something."
She's like, "You doing too much." She's like, "I'm out." Like, so it's like, all right, like we don't even get like a rundown of like what happened with them. Like, she was just there and then she was gone. I'm like, okay.
Was she in the bleachers? She wasn't in the bleachers either, was she?
No, she
No.
was. The last
Yeah.
time we saw her was with when after they got caught and they were coming out of the upside down after they had
Oh,
blew
yeah.
up. That was the last time we saw her, and that was it. That's when homegirl was probably like, I'm good. I was just like, that was kind of sucky. Give her a girlfriend just to like, yeah, I'm body. I ain't got no body no more.
A side plot that really didn't need to be there. But
Right. And so I was like, that was just dumb. I'm like, all right, cool, I guess. But then the other thing I didn't like is that they threw the aspects of the play in there. They were referencing to the Broadway and West End play of Stranger Things because they did do a Stranger Things play.
yeah, and a lot
And
of people didn't know that.
and I knew they did. I just didn't know they were gonna start throwing references like in there about it, like the whole thing with the cave, like that's in
Yeah.
the play. Like I'm like, why y'all throwing stuff in there that I don't have access to? Like I do not have access to Broadway or West End. Like who's gonna know that? Like unless you read up about it or something. But I had no clue because I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this cave? I'm like, why are we here? I was like, what's going on? And so I was like confused on that part, but I mean, I love that because we were getting to see like what actually happened to Henry when he was a kid, and then like actually finding out what he did. So it was like, holy shit! I'm like this whole time, I'm like, it's you. Like that part was crazy to me. Like it was him this whole entire time.
Yeah.
And so, and then coming to find out, like we already knew, like the blood was coming from him. Because I'm like, hello, he's one. Like
Yeah.
like we know, like the numbers. Like hello, like they had to use his blood to get high. But anyway, yeah, I thought his story was really good and it was very traumatic because he went through the same thing that the rest of them went through, like with 11 and their sister Kyle. Kali, like
Kali.
that right there. Yeah, that right there blew my mind. Let's talk about that really quickly. So because I was like, okay, I'm like, who is in this trap room that they could feel, and they thinking like, oh, it's Vecna, it's Henry, and I'm like, maybe it is, maybe they did catch her, maybe that's what it was, and then not thinking that these dudes was gonna go back to season 2, bring her sister back, because I was just like, huh. I was like, this whole time I'm thinking that episode was a filler, and it wasn't. So
yeah,
so they were like calling people. So they were like,
that was trash.
I was like, they were calling people out online talking about, oh, for the ones who said that that episode was a filler. It's like, how do you feel now? I'm like, dude, shut up. That episode was still a filler. I don't care. I was like,
and it was full of trash.
Yeah, and it still didn't make no sense. I don't care. I'm like, get that out of my face. But I'm like, that's still cool that they brought the sister back because I was like, Holly, Will, 11. I'm like, they're gonna take down Vecna. Well, that went in a completely different direction than I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? I was like so upset. And it was just like, because it was like I didn't know if I could trust Kali. Like you really couldn't.
I never did.
You really couldn't. And I was like, look, every time they show Hopper, whenever she would open her mouth, I was like, I felt the same way. Every time he would just be looking at her, just like bitch, I can't stand you. It's just like, dog, same. But it's like she ended up turning out to being one of the good ones, but still, it just sucks because it's like, okay, it's like y'all just throw her in at like the very end just to kind of like underutilized. Because I feel like some of these characters that they kind of like brought in or brought back, they were underutilized.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. The storylines just going off and they're like questionable endings. And I think like they heard that a lot of people were saying that episode was filler, so they were like, okay, how can we make it so that? And they was like, oh, we can bring her back and do this, make her more important. But like you said, that episode
she still wasn't important. She still ended up not being important
at all.
I was like, y'all just dropping the ball left and right. I'm like, what are we doing here? So, and then the same thing with like Dr. K and stuff, and like the military and like how they got down in the upside down. I'm like, how many people did they lose? Because I'm like, how they got a whole like in camp, like a whole camp
thing set up
in the upside down. It's like I know y'all lost a lot of people to get this shit up, but
And like, isn't this Vecna stomping ground? Where the hell was he at while y'all was building, construction, forming blueprints and everything
This
and
man was
moving in?
going around grabbing kids, and I'm like, why is he grabbing kids? I'm like, well, do you see these people in your backyard, dog? Like,
Yeah,
what are we
exactly.
doing? Like, that part was crazy to me. And then because I felt like at the end, because I'm we just jumping all over the place here because it's like it comes to my mind. I'm just gonna have to say it because I'll forget. But especially like at the end, like when they did everything they need to do, Vecna has been destroyed, the Upside Down is being destroyed. They're coming back. They're coming back into the real world. Why in the hell are the military still going after 11? I'm like, if everything is said and done, why are they still going after her if y'all don't have the Upside Down no more? It's like everything's gone. But then it's like 11 is like, I'm just gonna end myself because if I don't, they're gonna keep this, Papa's, thing going. Like that
Yeah.
was the whole reason why. But but wait. But I'm like, it still doesn't make any sense to me because I felt like if the Upside Down is gone, there shouldn't be like any issue anymore. Like they shouldn't even be going after 11 anymore. But like she said, she just doesn't want the whole thing to keep happening again. But I'm just like, they should be able to like come with like a compromise here. Like, okay, like this fight's done. Like, there's no more fighting. There's no more coming after my kid with a Hopper. Like this man just. Why is he losing his kid again? Like this man already lost one just to turn around and lose another one. Like
I
this
looked
man.
at it. I looked
I
at it
just
like yeah, the upside down and all that was gone. But if 11 would have came back into the real world and they captured her, they could have took her to any like facility in the real world and drained her of her blood and created
right.
more 11s. Because remember when Callie ran through the base and she saw all them mothers with babies sitting there and they was pumping them with the blood of her blood. So they was trying to create
See, and
11s out of
see
those
that's
babies.
and that's the thing because where were those ladies at? Where were they at down there in the Upside Down? Because you got
I
to
think they,
remember
yeah,
her because
nobody
Kylie, you got
remember.
to remember her what her power is. She can manipulate and let you see what she wants you to see.
Yeah,
So that's why I was like, is she really showing 11 what's really going on, or is she in her head? That's why when Hopper said the same thing, like you don't know like what she could be like. So that's why I was like, I was still kind of iffy on Kylie. That's why I was like,
see,
I was
I
still
didn't even think she was projecting. I thought she was just telling them what. Okay, I thought like, like when two characters talk and the movie shows you what the character is describing, but it's not like the other person she's talking to not seeing it, but they showing it for the viewers. And I thought that's what she was doing. I don't know if she was projecting that or just
that's
doing
because
that.
that's what Kylie can do. She can
Yeah,
show
yeah, I know
her.
that.
That's why I was just like, it's like she could be showing her anything. So that's why I was just like, oh, like I don't know, because we don't even see them pregnant women. Like we didn't even see them down there. Because I'm like, if that was the case, well, I feel like we should have saw them and we didn't. We just saw them in that pigmentation of like her reality. So that's why I was just like, okay, it's like you bring this up, but they're like nowhere to be seen. So that's why I was just like, okay. So that's why I was just like, it is what it is. I was just like a little disappointed, that they ended up like taking Kali out the way they did because it was just like,
Yeah.
and she wasn't even a part of the plan because it was like you were making her a part of the plan for her to not to be a part of the plan. Because it's like I really thought she was gonna make it out with like everybody else. I didn't think she was gonna like because like she said, it was like her and her and 11 would have to like die together. But I was like, I didn't think they were gonna like do it like that. Like, so, but also I think like you said with Erica, I was a little disappointed with her end because it was like you have Mike and Lucas going to the school and talking to her. Like she becomes part of the plan when they go to her. It was like, hey, we need your help. Like, yeah, because it's a turbo trap. It's like as soon as they went to her, it was like, okay, she's in this now. And then we learned the fact that she's a nerd, just like the rest of them. Like
Yeah.
she will always give her brother and them always problems, but ends up being in what was his teacher's name? Dustin's teacher that who he really
Oh,
likes.
yeah, I can't
Oh my
remember at
god,
all.
what is that man's name? I can see his face. Mr. Clark, that's who it was. Mr. Clark. And so that's it ends up being her favorite teacher. So that's why I just love the fact that she gets involved. She helps them out to like with Vecna because it's like she knew what was going down because I think it was like season 3. She like that's when she got involved. So and then in season 4 too. So it's like Erica was there. Like Erica was there at her brother's side. Like and she didn't have to be, but she was there because she ended up becoming to me, I think she became a fan favorite because everybody ended up falling in love with her.
Exactly.
And so for her to just have her ending become like you said, like the Cannon girl at the graduation. And I felt like she should have been downstairs at Mike's basement doing the Dungeons and Dragons, leading that group because she's literally a part of that group. And I'm also trying to figure this out. I'm like, look, I don't care if them kids were in the upside down being manipulated by Mr. What's It or whatever. But after they jumped Holly, I'm like, how are you friends with them? I'm like, how are you friends with them, Holly? I'm like, because a couple of them kids that were downstairs in that basement were the ones that jumped Holly in the upside down.
Exactly.
So it's like, how are you
Now,
friends with these kids?
now they buddies.
It's like I'm like, I thought it was cool that Derek was there with them, but I'm like, I feel like Erica should have been in that group somewhere. But also, I think Erica's a little bit older than them, so that's why I feel like she wasn't a part of that group because she's in middle school and those kids are in elementary school. So
Oh, yeah, that
like
makes sense.
but still, I'm like, I just felt like her ending could have been a little bit better. But then with the come out scene, I'm like, I have to disagree with you a little bit. I just felt like it was just for me, it was unnecessary to have everybody in that room because why is Kylie in that room? Why is Vicky in that room? Why is Murray in that room? It's like it was just a lot of people that was in that room that should not have been in that room. For me, if Will was coming out, the only people Will needed to come out to was his mother and his brother. That was it. Make that a family thing. Not everybody and their mama need to know that he's gay. Like the main people that he really needed to have that conversation with was his mom and his brother. Because even though Jonathan already kind of knows already from like season 4 when they talked about it, but he should have just it should like right there when he was getting ready to have that conversation with Joyce before Mike walked his lanky ass into the room. Like that right there should have been the scene. Like right there. He didn't need to have an audience. Like for me, it would have just been enough if it was just him, his mom, and his brother. He could have just did it that way, and it would have been a little bit better to me because I just feel like it was just too many bodies in that room. It was just like too. It was just like a lot going on. So and then on top of that, I just felt like dog. It's like we know that you're gay, but I know everybody else doesn't. But I'm like, y'all gotta understand this. To me, I'm like, there's other stuff that's going on right now. Like, there's kids' lives that are in dire need of like being saved, and we're like having this come out like scene. Like, this scene was a little too late. So like I felt like if they were gonna have it, they should have just kept it at 3 people: Will, his mom, his brother, and just consider that. other than that,
Oh, go ahead.
I just thought that this ending just was wrapped up a little too fast. I also have to agree with Joyce. I love the fact that Joyce was the one who gave that final blow. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love the fact that she was the one because I'm like, she was the one who went through it the worst because you had her baby gone for over like a few weeks. Like, who knows? It's like, yeah, he was gone for like almost a month. Like,
Yeah.
and you got people telling you, "Oh, your son, like we found your son," and it's like it's not your son. And then it's like her son is still going through like everything from being tormented by the mind hive in like season 2, being used as like a spy, being tested on, and all this other stuff. And then I also love the fact that we did get the glimpse of like seeing like this is what everybody went through with Vecna. This is what Vecna did to us. And this is like, our vindication, like watching him getting his head chopped. Like, this is like a moment for like, with like when they had Nancy, like, oh, this is for Barb, and like with Dustin, like this is for Eddie, and like
Yeah.
with Luke, like this is for what you did to Max, and just it was just all the things that this evil entity has done to them is finally coming to an end. But I just felt like that fight should have been longer. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
fight should have been something like because I thought it was cool when we see 11 make her way into the abyss and she like breaks her way into the mind flayer. Like that part was dope. People was like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, I'm like, who? I'm like, what in the Marvel is going on? Like I was like, I don't care, but I thought that part was tight. Like just seeing her just fighting him, but like I said, it should have just like it could have went a little more. I wanted to see everybody get their lick in. Like I wanted at
Yeah,
least everybody like start stomping on him. Like I just wanted him to get just jumped. Like that they should have got jumped. Like at that point. Like, but like I said, I just love that Joyce had that moment where she was like, "You fucked with the wrong family." Like when she said
yeah.
that line, I was just like, "Yay!" I was like, I was so happy. But I just felt like that was a little too short. I thought it just too rushed, too rushed. If they just dragged it out a little bit longer and made it like a better fight, I think we would have had something. And there was like a I think there was like a one part where I think Jamie what is who plays Vecna? Jamie Campbell. Yeah, Jamie Campbell Bower. He said that he wanted Vecna's last line to be like it was something he said that he wanted to say and he couldn't get it out right. And so it didn't work. And I was just like, I'm like, that line actually would have kind of slapped if he would have said it. But I can't think of the line that he said, but it would have been like the perfect ending for Vecna. Because if you think about it, like Henry was used, like he was used, but
He's
then,
he was supposed to say, "Please don't," because he didn't want to
yeah,
die.
yeah, that's what it was. Because it's like, yeah, if you actually think about it, it's like Henry was just a kid, just like everybody else, but he was different. And then they found out that he was different from, like killing his mom and his sister and,
Uh,
making his dad go crazy. But it was just like the stuff that he went through, like when he was a kid, when he like went to that cave and then he found that man, killing that man at a young age. And it's like, and then of course it was like that matter got, so that's what started everything. So it just like ended his world. He was no longer a kid. He became like an experiment. So
yeah,
they just used him, and then we saw what Appa did to him when he was older, as as one when we didn't know he was one. Had a like had the thing in his neck to keep him like docile and just and so until we saw what he actually was, but it's like he was made into that, and so
yeah,
like when Will had that moment with him and like you don't want to do this, like like this is not your fault and blah blah blah. Vecna was basically saying like no, he wanted it. Like
like
he
I
wasn't.
chose this.
Yeah, he's like I chose this. And I was like, wait a minute, dog. I'm like, I thought you were a victim in all of this. And it's like he's like, no. He's like, this is
Yeah,
the
'cause
life I chose. Like this was what
I
I
was
wanted.
like, you some
I'm
of
like,
them, like you done had me feeling sorry for you this whole time.
right.
Like, oh, he's just a victim.
It's like
I just
you big.
he be in control, but no, I'm choosing
Yeah.
like
He's like,
Freddy
I
Krueger
want
is
to
my
do this.
cousin. I'm snatching up kids all day. Like, come on now.
It's like, come on, dog. I'm like, it's like you didn't want this life. You know you didn't want it. It's like
He
he's
was a
like,
Boy Scout. Like, come on now, you
oh, he
great.
was a straight
Like,
up Boy Scout. Like,
you're
come
on the
on,
path to
like
greatness. But then
But
I was
yeah,
like, that's what your ass get for going down a cave. Like, who told you to
yeah.
go down that ladder?
He's
Who
like,
does
nobody
that?
told you to go down there. He's like, ooh, a hole. Don't go down there. Like, why would you do that
Then
to yourself?
Then
That
he
was
got shot in the hand, and because I forgot that part. Then I was like, why he beat that man face like that? Then I was like, oh, he got shot in the hand. That'll make you do some crazy stuff. I understand.
Man, because that kid, it's like you actually think about it. It's like, yeah, he went through it just like them, but also, like he said, he made that choice. So it's like, all right, well, if you made that choice, you choose to die.
Yeah, you can't say please don't. You can't say it.
But I did love the ending, like just seeing the kids, like finally have like whatever kind of childhood they thought they had. Because when you think about it, they really didn't have a childhood. Their childhood was kind of wrecked, that ruined, traumatized. Like all the way from the first season to now, it's like, dog, we never had a normal life until now. And then when you think about it, it's like poor Mike because it's like this man had to make up a story about 11. Like, oh, like she went off into, just walking around until she found this place where she could be herself and be free. I'm just like, bro, this is what we're really gonna do. This is what we're gonna really do. Let's just dream that she made it out. I'm like, dog, like really? That's why I was just like, they were trying to say that Kali did her one last thing. Like, oh, she just made it seem like she wasn't there. She just projected that she was there and she slipped away. I'm like, dog. I'm like, how is this working? Like, I didn't like that story at all. I'm like, that story sucked because it's just like you're making me want to believe that she's alive, and I'm like, I don't think my girl made it out, and so it just kind of like hurts to like just to see. the core, what is it? The core four plus Max, and not see 11 there. It was just
Yeah.
weird not seeing her at that table without those guys. Like, because I was like, oh my god, my kids are gonna make it, you know, because I'm like, that's how it's gonna go. Because the Duffer brothers made it seem like, oh, we're gonna kill off a bunch of people. Yeah, look, that was a straight up like a tease, like a cock tease. Like, y'all didn't kill nobody off. Like, that was,
Nobody.
you know, y'all lied. Like, y'all said that y'all were gonna kill people off. That, oh, it's gonna be a sad Christmas and a dark this and that. But I'm like, y'all didn't do anything. Y'all didn't like, you know, y'all didn't up the scales by like killing off some main people, because I was like literally thinking like, y'all gonna kill somebody off, and I'm like, and I'm not here for it, and they didn't do
I thought
anything.
Steve was a goner. Even
I
before
look,
that episode when he fell off the tower or almost fell off, when I heard him say that, I was like, yep, Steve is going to die. And I thought Lucas or Erica was going to pass away. One of them was going to die.
I knew they
But
weren't going anywhere, but
I thought they
I
were because you never see their parents except for one episode. You see everybody else's parents, all the other kids' parents. So they have that you have that emotional connection. You have their parents showing them love. So the audience is connected with them, like, oh, they have parents, they're here. But you never see the other, or Max. I thought she was another one. You never see Max's mom again past the trailer park scene where that cheerleader girl died.
well, because also the lady who played her had cancer,
Had
so they
cancer,
never,
yeah.
because they never called her in, because she even made a statement about like, why is her child like at the hospital and she wasn't there? They never
Yeah.
called her back, so that was on
Oh,
them.
that,
They just decided not to just bring her back. So yeah, that was on them. And then on top of that, we get the glimpse of Lucas and Erica's parents, and we get the mother in the second season when it was like the Halloween episode when the mom was taking pictures. But then in season 3, we get the one small scene with the
when they
family,
all at the house.
which I love, because Lucas is like asking his dad, like, hey, like, what do you do when you know, like, what do you do when you make mom upset? Like, how do you, like, he was literally, it was like a family moment. It was like the only normal family moment that we got in this whole entire show, because
Yeah.
everybody else's families are just everywhere. So for Lucas to have like this one moment with his parents where he's just like trying to find a way to like get Max back on his good side, it's like, or get back onto Max's good side. Sorry, that like how can I get her, you know, to like not be mad at me anymore? So that I love, because it's like we get to see that they came from a loving family. Like, they're the only family that actually has some kind of structure, because everybody else's families are like like, because you got Dustin, who's like a single parent, Will and Jonathan, single parent. You got Matt, you got Mike, Nancy, and Holly. Their parents are just like everywhere. So it's, and then of course Mac's parents are just MIA,
Yeah.
because her stepfather was Billy's dad, so he don't have no reason to be there no more. His
Stay
son's
around,
dead.
yeah.
So it's like, why am I still here? So it's like he left, and it was just her and her mom in the fourth season. But yeah, I was just upset at the fact that it's like, okay, we always see Lucas and everything in like at the hospital, but it's like, where's her mom at? It's like, I know this girl is not by herself, like up in this hospital. It's like, where's her
For,
family? Where, like,
for
does
years.
she like who, like, does she not have anybody for the last 18 months? You're telling me her mom has not been up here? Like, it was just like a lot that went on. So I didn't like that either. But the only thing was, it was just like when they did the scene with Steve, and it was like they were getting ready to go up into the abyss, and like the tower kind of snapped and he was getting ready to like, you know, go off. This is how I knew that they didn't kill Steve off. It's because that screen went black. And when that screen goes black, I know they are setting something up. That's how I knew, because I was like, there's no way in hell they're gonna kill Steve off because he's a fan favorite. Like, there's no way in hell. And they didn't, because they had him get saved by Jonathan, who he's always had like an issue with ever since like season 1. So it's like for them to have that moment, like, oh dude, you saved my life, like thank you, like that kind of a thing. I was just like,
See,
well,
I didn't take I didn't take that moment as that because it's not like you can hate somebody and not want them to die. Like, because he's not just gonna let the man fall out the, so when that happened, when the screen went black, I was just like, damn, they about to show him just falling. Because like you said, they said it was gonna be helter skelter, people dying. And because he's a fan favorite, that would strike people in the heart the most. And I would have liked it better if he did fall off and die on that scene, because it would have brought even more gravity of emotion to the whole, like, oh damn, and how they gonna survive without their babysitter, without how's Dustin gonna react? But then I understand why they didn't do it. But like I knew like they didn't really hate each other, they were just pining over the same girl. Like, and at the end when they was all sitting on the roof, that showed some more that they had grew past it and were, friends or whatever. So I like I said, that moment when he tipped that thing, I literally yelled no the loudest, like no, the loudest I ever did. But it was good to see them like say, okay, we need to stop acting like children. I saved you because I don't want you dead. Let's stop hating each other. Just work together, really.
For me, I really didn't even feel anything in that scene because it took them too long because they kept saying, "Oh, people are gonna die, people are gonna die," and all this other stuff, and it was just like when that moment came, I didn't feel nothing. Like I literally did not feel a damn thing. Like because they just kept playing it in our face, and for them to just do, "Oh, the screen goes black," it's like, all right. I'm like, if they were gonna kill him off, they should have just showed him just still falling to his death instead of going black. Because already, like I said, it's like as soon as that screen goes black, they're setting something up. Like either somebody's gonna save him, like, or like he saved himself, like he caught on to like the edge, like real quick, or like they showed Jonathan like grabbing his arm. So that's why I was just like, oh, I'm like, great. I was still happy that he made it. It was just like, okay. I'm like, now y'all doing this shit for tricks because it's like y'all want us to be like scared and like paranoid and being like, oh my god, like your heart drops and stuff like that. So it's just like, I guess I just was like, okay, let's just hurry this up. I guess at that point, I was just like let's just speed this up because I'm like, it was just like a lot was going on. So that for me, I was just like, okay, I'm like, y'all played in our face too long. Nobody's gonna die. And then when someone does die, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's the route you're gonna go? Cool, great. You kill off one of your main people. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm like, for me, I thought they were gonna kill off Harper. I was like, all right. I'm like, y'all kill off Harper. I was like, that's fine. Because I'm like, Harper did what he had to do. So it's like he did his fight. So it's like he's protecting the kids. So it's like, okay, it's like as long as the kids are safe, he's all right. So so when they didn't do that and they ended up killing off his other daughter, 11, I just think his ending was kind of great though because he's finally getting a chance to like move on, live a life that he never got a chance to have, which was like finding love, finding a family, which he found a family with like Will and Jonathan and stuff like that. Which I do love. It just sucks that he doesn't get to have 11 at his side, but at least he's still like can live on but still like hold on to her in his memory.
Yeah.
Because that's why I did like that scene with him and Mike when Mike was just like he can't, like he didn't want to, he didn't want to go on without her. And so like Hopper just literally had to let him know like, hey, it's like it's not easy, it's not going to be easy, it's going to take time, like you just have to live your life the best way that you can and just and just make it's like and don't forget about her, just basically just just live your life but just keep her memory living on through you and just and just learning how to be happy again because that's what Hopper
He
had to
did.
do. And he found
And
it when he got with Joyce and proposed to Joyce and getting able to have that life all over again when he couldn't have it with his first wife and when he couldn't have it with his first child and when now that he couldn't have it with 11 he's still getting it's crazy, he's actually the one who's getting like a third chance at life when you think about it.
yeah.
So
And
go ahead.
and realistically, nobody else on that cast or on nobody else, no other character could have delivered that speech to Mike but Hop. If Joyce had came and said it, it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have hit as hard because it just would have been like, hey, just like what people always say, because she didn't go through it, or if Steve or if somebody else besides Hopper would have delivered that, it would have felt weak. But because
Right.
he's been through it twice now, he
Right.
knows, and I think that's why he's not tearing himself up about 11 because he knows that that's not going to do anything because he did all that the first time. So
Mm-hmm.
now he's like, damn, I'm going through this again. I got to keep my head up. I got to remember the good times. I got to just move on instead of drinking and just disappearing and stuff like that. So he was the only one who could deliver that to Mike and have it hit home to everybody.
I just thought about this. I don't know why I just thought about this. Can you explain to me how the hell did Hopper get his job back as sheriff?
Yeah.
What
Right?
happened to the brother? What
Was the sheriff. Yeah, he was the sheriff. Hop said, "Look, I done helped take out Vecna. I done destroyed a void. There's no more upside down. Get out my chair. Get out my chair. Hop up out my chair. Matter of fact,
I was like, where did the brother go? I was like, he
yeah,
was the sheriff. I
he
was so
got
confused.
he got demoted quick.
Hell yeah, he got demoted quick. I was like, because yeah, the two partners. He's just like, where the hell did they go? It was
And
like, what we did?
the white goofy one, yeah,
Yeah, how they go?
Hopper done beat up the mayor, kidnapped the mayor, broke in the mayor's house, and they just like, hey Hop, you done committed felonies, but come on back. Like, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it was Chief. Yeah, Chief Powell, because it was Officer Powell, and he was Chief Powell in the fourth season. So it's like,
yeah.
okay, so y'all just said screw him. He's like, all right, you an officer now. Give me my hat back. Like he's like, I'm the captain now. Like what's going on?
Like, thanks for keeping it warm, but I'm
Yeah,
back.
I appreciate it, but I'm here. Like, get my shit. Like, get out my chair. He's like, take his name off the door.
The glue wasn't even all the way set yet. They just scraping it off. Like, we just put this in 2 days ago. Like, damn.
I'm just like, I literally thought about that at the end. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, this man is literally in his outfit, got the hat. I'm like, okay, now how he get his badge back? Like, like that man was gone, like in Russia. And he come back and he got his job back.
And everybody thought he was dead. So the other guy should have been able to stay in that chair. Like, you can't just cut like.
It's like, dog, you a sheriff or you an officer. Better yet, no, you the traffic. I'm here to direct traffic.
Go do security at the high school because I'm the sheriff now.
Yeah,
go.
I was so confused about that. I was like, how did this man become sheriff again? I was like, someone explain that part because it literally didn't make sense how he ended up becoming sheriff. I was like, yeah, okay.
His ending, I did like though. Him and Joyce, I did like that ending because Joyce had been through a lot and she deserved it. And Joyce's, first husband or whatever, Mike and them dad, he was, abusive and everything, so she deserved better. And Mike, I did not like Mike's ending because he was in that Jeffrey Dahmer type bar and just like, so his ending is just drinking and being gay. Like, nothing wrong with him being gay, but he should have a successful story. Like, he's working at an office or something. Or he has his own, like, he's in school, college, not just at a bar. Put this man in college. Like,
and the fact that you put this nigga in Milwaukee, I'm sorry, but I was like, you put this white boy in Milwaukee. Like, why would you put this white boy in Milwaukee? Of all places, you put him in Milwaukee. Like, you take him out of Indiana and take him to Milwaukee. You couldn't have said like, oh, you went to New York. Oh, you went to LA. Oh, you went to Miami. No, this dog went to Milwaukee.
Went up the street.
Just up the street. He couldn't even go to Chicago. Like, you are going to Milwaukee. Like, that's where you gonna end up at. Like, dog, of all places, Milwaukee. I was just like, okay. I didn't like his ending either. Like, what was his ending? Like, I'm like, Mike, if this is your so-called childhood best friend, you should have been like, yo, you became like an animation artist or something like that because we know he likes to draw and he likes to use his little coloring markers or whatever. So it's like he should have been like, you were an animator for da 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 da, and then you did this and did that, and you found love and like all this other stuff. Nah, you went to Milwaukee, dog, and
became a drunk. Like, come on, all this trauma I done been through since season 1, and my ending is
this. And you can't come over being like you were an animator. You did this, you did that. Nah, you would.
I can just hear Mike. I mean, I can just hear Will saying, "Don't do me like that, Mike. Don't do me like that."
Just staring him in the face like, dog. You can thought of another story for me. Like, just I'm in Milwaukee. Just
like I can't make children. I can't be a cartoonist or animator like you said. Something. I don't even draw comics for the Sunday paper. I drink at the bar in Milwaukee. Like
I have no life. I just get up and get cleaned up and go to the bar in Milwaukee.
Great.
But then and then Mike's story, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I'm a storyteller. Okay. I'm like, you a storyteller, but you couldn't even do that for Will?
A better storyteller, like
right. It's like, and then it's like his story is also kind of depressing because it's like, okay, he goes to school, he writes this and that, but I'm like, is he really happy though? Like, is Mike like actually happy? No, because he's really pretty much lost the love of his life.
He's pining over a woman all the time. Like he will for the rest of his life, is what I got.
He's Yeah, I feel like he's always gonna just love her for the rest of his life. Like he's not gonna
Yeah.
find anyone else like 11. Even though I'm like, yeah, probably y'all thinking like, oh, it's puppy
I
love,
mean, there's
whatever.
not too
And it's
many
like,
little
right,
girls out there picking up buildings and bleeding from the nose. So I mean, if you go from that to Karen in accounting, you like, okay, I'm not ever
I'm
gonna
like,
find
this is
somebody
not
that's
fun anymore.
you
Like,
like, hey, like, hey, Karen, I left the remote in there. Can you just phase it over to me? Karen
yeah,
looking at him like, what? Like, yeah, 11. My
exactly.
ex
It's
could
like,
have did it.
yeah, it's like, can you levitate this whole car right here? Can you just bring it up off the ground? No, okay, never mind. This ain't gonna work.
Karen get a nosebleed one day, might come running. Oh, is it you? You got it too? No, no, I just it's dry in here. It's dry. Like,
So I'm just like, this is so sucky. I was just like, oh, this is so just. It was just, I just like his story could have been. That baby is just like he's just gonna be sad for the rest of his life. And,
yeah.
and then the other scene that I thought was funny piece. I'm like, dog. I'm like, we've all done this. We'd be like, yeah, let's meet up like every year at blah blah blah. And dog, we will never do it. So that whole scene with Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Robin at the top of the radio station. I was like, yeah, that's relatable because we all do that and then we never see each other again.
And I like that the Duffers did that just because it was so relatable. Because we've, like you said, we've all done that, and it hit us thinking like, "Damn, I remember when we did that back in the
Yeah,
day, and it never happened." So it's like
yeah,
they're bringing up that joy that you have in the moment of saying that we're never gonna stop being friends. There's
right,
like nothing but joy in that moment, but then it's hitting you as an audience. Like, dang,
yeah,
I remember when that time came, and I got phone calls like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it this time," or one or two people show up, and you just keep missing each other, and then time goes
mm-hmm,
by, and you just keep going further and further, and it just to the point where people just forget that it ever even said that we was gonna do it. So that
right.
I
Yeah, when
like
I
when
saw
they
that,
do realistic emotional connections like that.
they were just sitting up there just having their beers, like, yeah, it's like we'll see each other again. I'm like,
Yeah,
let me get back to you on that. I thought that was funny. I'm like, and who got the money to be making these trips to what was it, Philly? Was it Philly they said?
yeah. To not Nancy, no, not Nancy, but oh, what's her name? She had an aunt or uncle that
Yeah,
had
is
money.
it it's like Robin or something?
Yeah,
Is it
Robin.
Robin?
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
She had an aunt or an uncle that had money, and they was gonna meet up at his house. I
Yeah,
was
we
like,
all
did you
just
talk to him? Have you
yeah.
spoke to
I'm
this
like,
man
yeah,
yet?
it's like
You
y'all had
just
this
show
conversation.
up.
It's like y'all just it's just like a bunch of y'all at my house. Like, what you doing at my house?
Exactly.
Like,
You
like
just
who are
show
all
up.
these
What's good,
kids?
huh?
Like, it's like she's sitting there. Like, I'm like, do I know these kids? It's like, do I
I'm
know you?
Elaine's daughter. You know me. We
I
was at the cookout last year. Like, okay.
thought that was part was so funny. I was just like, this is dumb. But also, I don't know why I just thought about this too. It was crazy to me. Also, I'm like, we're gonna like try and wrap this up. But the scene with like the family, the Wheelers, the one where Holly gets taken by a Demogorgon. I don't know why I skipped all past this. But that episode was deep. That episode was good too because it's like we get to see Karen like it's like okay, we see where Nancy gets it from. Like
Yeah.
that's who Nancy gets it from because that man, their dad is just
Oh yeah.
that man,
And
that
then
man
they
right
let us
there.
think he was dead for so long.
And then like when they show him in the scene, like when the mom, like when Karen and Holly are like hiding from the Demogorgon, and he finally brings his ass in the house, and then he's standing there trying to reason with the Demogorgon. Like, dog, do you realize that you got a 9 iron and you trying to talk to a monster? You trying to talk it down? Like, dog, this is fight or flight. Like, you it's either one of those choices. We ain't got time to talk. Like, why is he trying to talk to something that only knows to kill? Like, bro, like that whole part right there was just the dumbest thing to me. Because I'm like, why
Yeah,
are you trying to talk? That's why your ass is over there in a coma right now at the hospital. Like it's
exactly.
just like Ted was just there.
Like
Ted was
you
just there
came
just to
in,
be there.
like you came in. This thing didn't say a word to you. It just growled at you and opened its face up, and you're like, "Hey, I pay the HOA here. This is my property. Don't can you please leave? I don't like you here." And then it just threw him my ass away like garbage.
Muddle in him. It's like, dog, you really sit here trying to have a conversation. It's like we don't your house is about to get destroyed and your family about to die and you want to have a conversation with a Demogorgon. Like,
And then we
really?
never seen him again until the graduation. Didn't say he was in the hospital. They didn't say mom and dad is here. No, they just was like mom. It was just all mom. Dad, I thought was dead.
Yeah, because it's like we only saw like one glimpse of him just once. Because I think it was who was in the room. I think it was like was it Will and Robin who walked in the room and that's where they found him. He was comatose, so that was like the only time that we like saw him for a split second, and then that was it until, like you
And he
said,
had
to the
that cut on. He
graduation.
had that giant cut across
Yeah.
his chest. So I thought it was a
Yeah.
wrap.
Yeah. And the same thing with Karen. I thought that lady was about, she was ripped to
Oh
shreds.
yeah.
How is she still alive? And then she saved them. Like that part was psycho. But I was just like, how is she doing all that? And then she thought she was about to leave the hospital and help them. Ma'am, you are like 1 foot in the ground. Like you
you,
ain't going nowhere.
you about to bleed. Your neck is literally hanging on your chest. You about to bleed out.
Exactly.
Like you did a good thing blowing up that thing, which I don't understand because them demodogs or demogorgons, could they not hear? They could hear, right?
That's the
Because
thing. I was like,
wasn't Max over there playing the boombox? Or not Max, but Lucas had the boombox going.
yeah, because they could hear it, and I think they were like walking towards them, but then they heard the sound of like I think it was the dryer,
The oxygen tank in the
like
dryer. Yeah.
tumbling around in there and stuff. I was just like, okay. I was like, are these things really dumb? Because you saw how they stayed there, and the thing went. I was just like, bro, Scooby Doo, like just.
And they were so quick when they heard that tumbling around, they went over there in 2 seconds. But they wanted to pussyfoot around to get over to where the radio was coming from. Like, if you don't jump over there and eat these pepperoni dogs, they were just like, so what you doing on Sunday? How's dinner? Or how's the 401k? Like, no, get over there. But they heard the tumbling and jump and ran over there like the Flash. Like, I didn't make sense, but I didn't let it destroy that moment because that was a cool Karen.
It was a cool Karen moment.
Yeah.
That's why, because even Robin was like, she's like, I hate to do this, but she's like, can you please turn that radio off?
Yeah. Look, I'm not trying to die.
Lucas is like, no, like I can't. He's like, I need my woman. Like, but no, we're about to die. Like you
and your woman about to be over there.
Like, you really want to do this for love right now? Like let's think. But I actually enjoyed this. Is the one Karen that I do like. So, like she did the damn thing with that, but that was like the last time we saw her too, until we saw her
the graduation, yeah.
Until the graduation. And so it was just, I like that we got a little bit of Karen just having that moment, because we always just saw like their mom is just like, the mom who does everything, the mom who was seen like unworthy and wanted to feel wanted with like Billy and all that stuff. And then we finally get to see this moment of her where they have no clue what the hell is going on. And she was literally she literally went fight or flight in the same way, but she fought. She was smart. Like, she didn't act like her husband trying to have a conversation. Like, let's negotiate here. Like, no, she broke that bottle and was just like going to town. Like, get away from my child. Like, she had no idea what this monster was. She had no idea where the hell it came from. She was just like, stay away from my daughter. That was all she knew. That was it. But it just, I thought she was a goner, because the way the Demogorgon was flashing her up like some prime rib, like, bro, like, why is this lady not dead? Like,
because I thought the Demogorgon was going. I was like, Karen is putting in work. It's a wrap. But then the Demogorgon was like, all right, I don't let you feel big and powerful enough. And I was like, damn. I was like, okay, you went out better than your husband. You went out like a G. And like, I love the part where they was under the bathtub, the water, and that was
cool. So, because I literally thought when Nancy found her mom on the ground, I literally thought that woman was gone. Like, like how they made that whole scene look like, and especially like how they made it seem in the trailer when Nancy's like scrubbing the hell out of her hands, because they actually show that scene of her in the hospital. It's like, so I'm thinking like, oh snap, I'm like thinking like someone died. No, it's just her mom's blood, because she was trying to keep her from bleeding out. I'm like,
and they took forever. And they took forever in that station wagon to get to the house. So technically, she should have bled out. If like your whole neck wrapped up when you like, and the doctor saying you can't say a word, you done got something tore out in there. Like, but I am happy that she didn't die. But logically, she should have went ahead and met her maker. But I'm happy that the Will and Wheelers, all was together at the end.
Yes, and also I just love that the character development for Nancy from season 1 all the way to season 5 has been immaculate. Like, just seeing her as like, like the pretty prissy girl, of like high school, like everybody like likes and wants to be with and stuff like, and then just seeing her become like this total badass
Rambo,
who didn't even know how to use a gun in the beginning, who was terrible at swinging a bat. Like, it was just all bad. And now she knows how to handle like a straight up, like, like a sawed-off shotgun, or just like a straight up like AK, like straight, like you said, like this girl is like a descendant of like Rambo. Just straight up. So that's why I love that moment with like her and Hopper, when he was like, I think he said like great shot kid or something like that. And so so it's just hers to me. I think her character development and Steve's is like the best.
Yeah.
Like theirs was the best because like we saw Steve as like the hot rod, the one with the Beamer. Rest in peace, Beamer. It's flown off. It's floating off into deep space somewhere. But he was just like the hot guy. Every girl wanted to be with him. Like every guy wanted to be him. And he just seemed like like the hot kind of like goofy guy, but he ended up being like someone of importance. Like they said, like he didn't have no relationships with anybody in his family except for Nancy because they were together for one. Like there was no family involved for Steve at all. This man just went in. It was just like, oh, I just want to declare my love to Nancy. Got pulled in. It was like, look, I'm with y'all for the rest of my days.
And
Like,
I said that on Facebook. Like, why is Steve here? Like, we all love Steve, but let's think. There's no
yeah,
reason for him to be here. He don't know any of these kids. He literally didn't know any of the kids like
right,
that. He knew Jonathan and he knew Nancy. And he
yeah,
went to apologize to Nancy for being a jerk and just got
right,
sucked into it.
right.
Baseball bat, and that was it. So
Yep. And then like the second season, he ended up getting pulled in as the babysitter, and then that's
yeah,
when
oh yeah, exactly.
because what happened is that he was trying to apologize again to Nancy in the second season, and Dustin was like, "Hey, let's go. It's like we got something to take care of because he already was involved. So it's like that's how he got
Yeah,
pulled in again, and so." Then that's when he became the babysitter, and like he said, he's like a pretty damn good babysitter. So
exactly.
and he is, and that's why I love him. It's like he was like a surrogate to all these damn kids. Like it's like if the real parents weren't around, Steve was there. Like Steve was your go-to. So that's why I
And
just love that.
he was tough on him too.
Yeah,
he was a tough friend, like a tough thing.
right.
Like it worked.
That's why I love in the second season when he was like, I think it was like Will, not Will, it was Dustin and Lucas, and they were like arguing about something. And he was like, hey, he's like, why aren't you guys helping me except for this rando girl? Like he was like telling them like get up, like we got shit to do, like let's
Yeah,
move it along. So that's why I'm like I love that he was there for that because they did need someone who was actually there to protect them if the other ones weren't like around. And
yeah,
so like when we see him like in the fifth season when Nancy's like, oh yeah, like you just see like a complete like this guy wants to be a family man. Like he's talking about, oh, like I've saved that money. I'm gonna get my own little trailer park because that's where he's gonna be at. It's like that's the trailer park that he was talking about. Like he saved up enough money to have a trailer so he can have a
yeah.
place to stay. And then it's like,
And
and then all
6 kids.
have like he wanted to have like six little nuggets. It's like, dog, you
Yeah,
got
that's
them
what he
right there.
called.
You got them. It's Will, Max, Luke, Dustin,
Exactly.
and 11. There's your six little nuggets right there. But I love the fact that he became a baseball player for like the school. So I'm like, there's your team right there. It's like
The
there's your
coach.
kids.
Yeah,
Like, and I love that his story came out good as well because like we all said it's like he didn't have nothing to do with this like at all. He just made that choice and was like, hey, he's like I'm in it, and I'm like I'm not going anywhere, and that's what I love. And the same thing with Robin. Robin got pulled in because of Steve. She
Steve.
didn't know
Yep.
what the hell was going on, and then it's like she was just in it for it, in it too. So it's like she had no relationships with nobody except for Steve, but there was like no family, no nothing. They just were like, "Hey, we're a part of the gang. We're gonna be with y'all until the end." So, and so that's what I love about his character and like Robin's
Yeah.
character as well. It's just like, hey, we're here. It's just a bunch of aura farming, just a bunch of just aura farming.
Because
But
they both could have literally left at any time, and like
yeah,
they
they
would, like Vecna wouldn't have went after him. Nobody
right,
would have went after him, but they stayed,
right.
which of course the right thing to do. But they could just be like, hey, I'm going to San Diego. I got people there. Y'all be easy. I'm out.
But other than that, I did enjoy the season. I appreciate for what they did. I'm happy that we did get an ending. I kind of wish I would have saw it in the theaters. Maybe my reactions probably would have been a little bit more
Yeah.
because I was like, look, I tried to look and see if there was anything. Every time I looked, it was sold out everywhere here. It was
Yeah.
sold out. And I'm like, I'm not paying $20 for something that I can see on my TV at home. I'm like,
Well,
why am I
it was
doing
40.
that?
It was 45 here, and that's what I said. I was like, I'm not doing that.
What?
I'll just wait and watch it. Yeah, because
25?
I looked at AMC and I was like, what? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, because I was like, it showed 20 for me, 40, 40.
I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Five? That's like 5 movies.
I was like, Netflix is already high enough. I just watch it
I'm like,
on
I'll
here.
watch it at home. I'm like, we got surround sound and a big screen downstairs. Let's call it a day. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not spending that money, but I mean, I wish I would have, but it is what it is.
yeah.
But one more other thing too before we wrap this up, I know that a lot of people were thinking like, oh, there's a episode 9 where it's like
Oh
this was
yeah.
all a dream, and I was just like, if someone asked me, they were like, do you believe that? I was like, dog, this show is over. I'm like, they wrapped that shit up with a bow and called it a day. This is
Even
done.
Netflix put out a post that said, "Give it a rest." This,
Yeah.
it's not
And they're like,
happening.
knock it off. They're like, knock
Yeah.
it off. It's like there's no such thing as an episode 9. I'm like, if y'all that gullible and dumb to think that, be my guest. But I wasn't. I'm like, this shit is
When
over.
I saw it, I saw a post that said episode 9, and I just
Uh-huh.
immediately was like, "How would they even do that? How would that even make
Right.
sense?" Like that, like
Right.
the logical part of my brain lit up. Like, how
Ding
does
ding
that even make
ding.
sense? Exactly. So I was just like, "Yeah, this. I hope this is. I hope I don't continue to see a whole
Mhm.
bunch of these posts on there because it's just ridiculous."
So yeah, so before we end this conversation, like I do have to ask because I know a lot of people are thinking and was wondering this too. Do you believe 11 is dead, or do you think she made it to the 3 waterfalls?
I actually think she did make it because I knew in the story there was never a chance for her to come back to Hawkins or be with the guys again because the army was never going to stop looking for her because of her blood. I knew
Mm-hmm.
that. So I always thought that, yes, she was going to die, but I'm on the path of the Kaylee thing because, or Kaylee, her sister, I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the path of that her sister helped her because, yeah, Kylie, because there was no nose bleeding and her hand was shaking at the end, and that showed me that was Kylie losing her grasp to ability to do it, and and it just that's my main takeaway from that because if she were physically there exerting herself by that grasp of a scale, I think there would have definitely been a nosebleed or something. She would have been destroyed, like wrecked. Her body physically would have been just. So I do like to believe that she made it to the like her seeing the 2 waterfalls and just walking around casually. I don't like. I would have rather her just been on a bus going somewhere, not like the one like. But
Right.
I do think she went away and she finally found that peace and that escape from
Mm-hmm.
everything.
For me, I hate to be that person, but I think our girl did. I think she just went with the upside down. Like as much as I want to believe that like she made it to the 3 waterfalls, but I just think that's like a story that Mike wants to believe that she made it there. Like just for him to like have like his little bittersweet ending, like, oh, I'm like, I don't want to believe that she's dead. I just want to believe that she made it out alive, that she made it to someplace safe where she can live out her life. But because I just think it's selfish that she's on her own. She doesn't have anybody. Like she's just living a life just without the people that she knows. Like she's just out there surviving. Like I'm like I understand like she's free, but I'm like, is she really free? Like so I to me I think she's dead because I'm like I feel like how could Kali live like last that long when she got a shot, what was that, in her abdomen or chest? Either way,
Yeah.
if Kali did that, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, she saved her sister. She did like one last, honorable thing. She like saved her life, but I just don't. I don't think she made it. I think 11 actually did just went on with the breeze.
I think she working at the local supermarket underneath those. You saw how in the episode she attacked that supermarket and closed the doors and broke them out. So she learned how to operate the doors, and now she's working there eating all the waffles she can.
Oh my god. All right. All right, y'all. Now the series has said its goodbye. I also need to know out of the seasons 1 through 5, brother, what is your season's ranking?
Oh, my season rankings are going to go. I have them right here. They're going to go season 4, season 1, season 2, season 5, and season 3.
Really?
Really, because season 4. Why did I put this at number 1? Season 4 is Stranger Things being the most grown-up edition that you can get. The most brutal, the most confident. Vecna is by far the best villain the show ever had. The personal, psychological. Max's arc, the running up the hill, is just great. the horror finally feels like it's there, like it's genuinely scary, and the show stopped playing it safe and lets characters break as far as their mental, emotional. And season 4 is the show firing on all the cylinders that it can. Horror, emotion, and the character depth is all there. And season 1, of course, you have to put up there. I would have put season 1 at 1 because it introduced us to all the characters, but season 4 was just so good. Like like it has a perfect pace to it as far as the mystery and everything, and it's like lightning in a bottle. Like I don't think they'll ever be able to recreate what season 1 did in any show. And let's see what happened to season 2. The arc of Will, his Will's arc and the possession is terrifying. Hopper, now this is the Hopper finally stepping into his role as a father, like we talked about before. That happened in season 2. And Steve's babysitter arc happens in season 2, like you said. The Mind Flayer. Oh, and season 2 is like I said, like we said, has Kali episode that's worthless, but then doesn't become worthless at the end. But it has that episode. But that's not why I put it at number 3. Like that episode might have been out of place, but it's still the rest of the season was still good. And like I said, I got season 5 at 4. I like season 5 because I didn't think it was the show at its peak. Like it wasn't the greatest season, but it had strong character resolutions. Will and Eleven, they hit their marks, they hit their higher form. The themes as far as emotion was out of like it hit hard. And I liked how the season was less focused on shocking us and just giving us, emotion and like because it's coming to an end. You can't just shock us and jump out at us all the time. You have to build that emotion and let it slide out a little bit. But the pacing in season 5, like we talked about, that wasn't good. But well, sometimes towards the last episodes, like we said, it felt rushed and everything. But season 3 is my last one because the whole Russians things felt like a comedic relief kind of thing. Like I just didn't. I loved Erica and her little everything in it, but the Russians felt cartoonish. The emotional weight wasn't there. It focused on horror. It focused on humor instead of the horror aspect of the show. And by doing that, the comedy sometimes draws away from the tension that's supposed to be there in some scenes. The whole mall thing I felt like was comedic and like it was light and fun and everything, but the show isn't like. But I felt like the whole season was like that. And the one thing that did save the season was Hopper's letter. But overall, it just didn't lack. It just lacked it for me. And but the last Stranger Things season was overly emotional, but season 3 is just fun. So that is why it is my last ranked episode. I mean season.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm like, I didn't even say why I ranked them that way. I just.
Because I know by looking at it, some people probably be like, "Oh, what is he talking about? Why would he do that?" So I just wanted to give the like, thing on it, but yeah, season 4 is definitely the best. You can't get past Max just floating up in the air and just hanging there, and
Yeah,
just
I
like
can. Yeah, I
you
can.
just and the storyline behind it, you just can't get. That's peak right there. That whole season was just peak. What you got for us?
For my ranking, mine goes straight across. It goes 1, 2, 3, 5, and then 4.
You put 4 last.
Yep.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Because that first season, it was because to me, this is where Stranger Things did. This is where Stranger Things is the reason why Stranger Things is the way it is. It's because when this show started, it just started off as like this small, like intimate show where it was just like sci-fi horror mixed in it, and then you just had like this core group, and you're in one town. They just kept it just straight across the board, and so it just gave you like what like a '80s feel type of show would feel like because of course it's based in the '80s. And so it was just small. They didn't try to go over the top. They used with what they had and it worked. It worked beautifully because they didn't have a lot to work with and they just had what they had. And so when your show starts off small and it's on a smaller scale, I love it even more because they can just stay in that one circle. Like it doesn't expand. And so that's why I still love the second season because then you had the Halloween aspect to it and it still felt small. It's like, yeah, you added like a couple of more characters in there. I'm like, that's fine, whatever. That's cool. And then when you get to the third season, which I love because you have like the summer idea, it's like the 4th of July. You have like the oh, okay. You have the big city, like not the big city. You have like the big, like the big companies coming in, like with the like the with the mall with Starcourt. It's like, oh, this is how we're gonna make business, but also it's like there's another reason why. But then that's when it started to kind of like go a little grand, but it was still small. You still had like the same characters from the second season. You maybe had like a couple in there, but other than that, it still stayed small. We were still in Hawkins. Like they did have like the aspect of like the Russian sting and stuff, like because they were like trying to get involved with everything that was going on in Hawkins. But then, of course, even though the fifth season was a little shaky, I still loved it because it was the ending. We got our little nice little bow tied across, but still there's like a little bit of like open like plot lines that it's like we'll never get the answers to, even though they try to answer it. It still didn't make sense, but I still loved it regardless. The fourth season is the one where it felt too grand. That's when they were all over the place. That's when you got Russia, Hawkins, California, Arizona. That's when you start losing the big. You start losing the small picture, and you start making it big. I'm like, I didn't really care for it because it's like you. It's like, yeah, I'm like, I did love the stories. Like they had the horror part was like perfect. Like just the way like Vecna like handled like his victims in that season, and I did love Max's moment. Like, don't get me wrong, but that was like at the point where they were trying to make it like into like a movie budget type of a season, and it's like y'all don't have to do that. that's when the that's when I felt like the cast just really kind of like overgrew, and it's like it was just like too many people. It was just like too many bodies. Like the third season was still pretty decent because you still got your core cast and you just like have like a few floaters here and there, but they made sense in the story. Some of these people were just thrown into the season and it did not make any sense. So that's why I felt like number four was like my least favorite of the series. Like I love all the seasons, but if I had to pick my least, it would have to be number four. Well, season four.
Understood, understood. From your the aspect of keeping it small and everything, I do understand why you would say that. I never thought that the story would be. To me, you can't contain this story just in Hawkins because people are going to try to get away from danger. People are going to try to, especially the parents, they're going to try to take their people somewhere else, and that's what Joyce did, and that's why it moved like that. And then just with this, the whole aspect of other kids being taken is going to bring in new characters and everything. So I never looked at it as being able to stay a small show, but I do understand what you're saying. You want the core power group to focus on the problem and not bring too many stories into it to build it up. And a story like this with Netflix and everything, of course, it's gonna be grand and bring in like not a movie like a Titanic kind of movie, but it's gonna bring in special effects and stuff like that because the story calls for it. Or even if the story don't call for it, it can be added in to bring more value to the episode or to somebody's story and everything. So, like I said, I understand the aspect of you wanting to keep it small and everything. I guess I looked at it more as a story and what they were trying to do in the first season versus what and how did that carry on. That's the way I ranked my listing. Couldn't think of the word. All right, we have kicked the butt of Stranger Things, boy. We have talked about it in depth pretty good. You got anything else on that aspect?
No, I think I said my piece pretty much. That
We
was a
are
lot.
stranger. Oh yeah, we are Stranger Things out now. So all right. So now that we have come to that, we're at a moment that you guys have been waiting for. It is our time for our top 10 of 2025. Last year gave us a hell of a lot of nostalgia, remakes, reboots, sequels, and prequels, but also gave us originality and obvious reasons to get our butts up and go right back into the theaters. So now we're here to give us, so now we are here to give you our top 10 and reasons why they are in our top 10. We're going to start at the bottom, go from 10 to 1. Then we will briefly talk about why they're in our top 10. So, sis, you want to give us the honors of your top 10 of 2025?
All right, so I'm just gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna go by my list of my 2025 ranked on Mesto Letterboxd. So starting with number 10, I think this is a one that a lot of people haven't heard about, but I'm just gonna go through this briefly, really quick. Number 10 is gonna be Becoming a Guinea Fowl, and then number 9, which is kind of rare to have a Marvel movie in my top 10. Actually, no, it's not. That's a lie. The last one was probably Black Panther. But anyway, moving on. Thunderbolts comes in at number 9. Number 8 is Marty Supreme. Number 7, we got Weapons. Then number 6, this is crazy. I feel like I have a lot of horror in my top 10. I don't care though. My number 6 is 28 Years Later. And then you got, for my top 5 here, starting at number 5, you got The Long Walk. Then my number 4 is Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery. And then my number 3, you got Frankenstein. My number 2 is One Battle After Number. And of course, I'm like, come on, y'all. Y'all already got to know what my number 1 is. It already broke records at the Oscars for the nominations of 16. That's the all-time record, y'all. Like, that mind-boggling. But anyway, my number 1 is Sinners. Like, number 1, Sinners. Like, you don't talk to me. All right, brother.
That is a pretty good list. That is definitely a good list. And we are on accord with a couple of them. So let me knock out my number 10 is something that I watched on Hulu at the beginning of the year. It's called The Gorge. Number 9 is going to be Warfare, the Army movie I'm sure everybody know about. Number 8 is going to be Thunderbolts for me. Number 7 is going to be Novocaine. Number 5 is going to be Predator Badlands. No, number 6 is going to be Predator Badlands. Sorry. Number 5 is Frankenstein from Netflix. Number 4 is Weapons. And my top 3, number 3 is going to be Companion. Number 2 is going to be One Battle After Another. And number 1, give it up for everybody who worked on this. 16 nominations is just absolutely crazy. But it's very much deserved. My number 1 is obviously Sinners. And I also have a couple of honorable mentions. Wicked for Good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it still deserves an honorable mention. It didn't even get anything at the Oscars, which is crazy. Not a single nomination.
To me, because it wasn't all that great like the first one.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't as good at all.
They made us watch that movie and it wasn't all that great.
It was not. It was nowhere near as good as the first ones. The songs didn't hit the same, but I at least thought it would get like makeup and hair or something like that. I knew it wasn't going to do like the first one.
I would have been fine with like makeup, hair, costume, stuff like that. That's it. Like, yeah. So I totally get that.
The Long Walk is on there. The Long Walk could really be number 10. The Gorge and The Long Walk could be switched. I went back and forth for that forever, but that was an absolutely great movie. And my third honorable mention is Together, just because it was comic horror that I just had me laughing all night. So, you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I do. I have Mickey 17. That's one of my honorable mentions. I actually did enjoy this movie. It's crazy how this movie just came out literally like about a year ago. So it literally came out it came out a year ago, which sounds weird. But I actually enjoyed it. It was weird. It was sometimes funny. It was sometimes dramatic. I think Robert Pattinson did an amazing job as playing like a clone version of himself. Yeah. I loved Naomi Ackie. She was great in there because instead of her being like the damsel in distress or just like a woman who doesn't do anything, she was like a badass in her own. So that's why I loved her character. And I kind of loved that Mark Ruffalo was kind of like
a weirdo. He was
kind of like made after like Donald Trump in a sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of love that. And Wicked was another one of my honorable mentions as well. I was just a little bit disappointed with this one because that first one, when they came out the gate, they came out swinging. So it was one of those global phenoms that just worked for them in 2024 with the first part of Wicked because it was just great. And like you said, like the music just hit a little bit harder. Like that soundtrack for me, like I can listen to that soundtrack with no problem. It's that second one. It's just like nothing really does it for me. The only song that does it for me is probably like For Good, and that's probably it. But like the only song that I like. But it just didn't have like that same kind of hit as the first one. I think that some of the performances wasn't all that great, but nothing against like Ariana Grande or like Cynthia Erivo because they brought it every single time. but I kind of was like a little disappointed because I thought they kind of would have got like nominated for like makeup and hair or like
Yeah.
costumes, but they didn't get it this year. Which I mean, that's okay. I'm like, they did great with the first one. Just be happy
Oh
off
yeah, they
of
cleaned up
that.
nicely for that
Yeah,
one.
like just be happy with that one. But if anything, if like the main one that I do wish that people would like look if they can have a chance to watch it. It's subtitled and it's my number 10 because I like went back and forth with this. It's called Unbecoming a Guinea Fowl. So it's basically the story is about it says it's on an empty road in the middle of the night. Shula stumbles across the body of her uncle. As funeral proceedings begin around them, she and her cousins bring to light the buried secrets of their middle class Zimbabwean family. So it's an African story. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
just basically like it says this lady she just came like Shula she just comes from this party and she's like driving on the street she comes across her uncle he's in the middle of the street he's dead so it's just like it says it's like after they start like the funeral proceedings a lot of stuff comes to light so it just shows you like how the women move and then how the men move to when these secrets come out and it's just it's very it's something very powerful and something like everybody should watch because of course it deals with like assault and that kind of a thing. So I in like how people like react to it and how they work, how they work it out. And so I believe like everybody should at least watch it at least once in their life if they can have a chance to watch it. I'm real surprised that Weapons made it into my top 10 because I was going back and forth with this one, but it actually worked. So I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah,
So
it
that
had to be. It had to be in mine. That movie was just crazy from start
yeah,
to finish.
so that one I went by myself, but I was like surrounded by people, so it kind of like worked out. Just everybody's reactions was about the same, so it was kind of great. Also, I was like real surprised with the long walk. Like I really but like I said, it's because I think it's because I'm like I still haven't seen like a bunch of 2025 films yet. Just so you guys know, I'm like this list may change. So but that long walk, I was not expecting it to be as good as I thought it was going to be.
Uh-huh.
It was very bleak and it was very dark, and that was like the thing for me. I was just like, how did they like get this movie off the ground? Like, how is this even possible? But it worked, and then the fact that they did it like chronologically, it was just like, wow, like they really did this movie in order. And it just watching these boys just just walking and like building camaraderie and then like finding out like what's like the whole thing of like why are they doing this and what are they
Yeah.
getting from it and stuff like that and like how the world is like changing and it's weird because if you think about it the world is changing in so many ways that we may end up in that at that point so it's just like we don't want to become a world that's like totalitarian like and that's where we're headed and then it's like kind of scary in the sense that we're seeing stuff that can be like brought into like our real world but also like if anybody has a chance to see this movie or has a chance to just watch it once even if you can't handle the blood and gore and all that stuff like maybe it's not for
Yeah.
you but if you can especially you got like great performances from Cooper Hoffman like the son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman and then you got David Johnson who is just doing an amazing job like right now
Yeah.
so like if you guys haven't seen it if you want to see it please give it a chance just either way, if there's like any other movie I could say, I would say go see my brother. I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
give it
on
a
the list.
shot. I'm like, give it a shot. I think Timothy Chalamet does a great job as Marty Mauser, the character that he's playing. He's just a man just out on his luck, just trying to like live the dream that he can be like the best ping pong player in the world. But it's a lot more that goes on. So I hope
Was that
you.
one on your list? That was on your
Yeah,
list. What?
it was number 8.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was number 8 on my list. So yeah, that's why I was like real surprised that a lot of horror movies took like my top 10. No, about
And
maybe like four, five, five, five. Yeah,
your
four.
number
Yeah,
10, the one you said that people might not know of, is it? Where is that streaming, or where did you?
HBO Max.
Okay. Okay. Just
Yeah,
so people know, because I had
yeah.
never heard of it. But
Yeah, yes, HBO Max on becoming a guinea fowl. Just so you know, it is subtitled. So if you have a chance, if you have the time to like watch a movie with the subtitles, please give this movie a chance.
Find somebody that likes to read and have them read it out loud to you.
It's like if you can literally sit for, I don't even think the movie's that long either, if I'm correct. I don't think it is. Yeah, if you can sit for an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, that's not long at all.
No, it's like it's a breeze. It goes by quick.
That on my list of things to watch, definitely.
And of course, like I don't think there's anything else except I'm like everybody knows like my other faves. I'm like real surprised that a Knives Out movie made it into my top 10. I don't know if another one made it into my top 10. Maybe the first one made it into my
Yeah,
top 10. I don't know if it made it. I'm trying to think if it made it into any of my top 10. I think this one might be like in the top 5 actually. I'm like real surprised by that. But I mean, the third one was really really good though.
yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. I still have not caught it yet, but I definitely
Mhm.
have it on the list of things to watch because I remember us talking about it not too long ago, and just the whole series is just I love the first two, so I know I'm gonna love the third one.
Yeah, so yes, it this one deals, of course, as you can see, it deals with like religion and the church and God and all that kind of stuff. It just makes you just think about, a lot, but also it still has its like its funny moments and like and then of course it like had me like not realize I'm like who did it like because of course you it's like I don't know like
Yeah,
it's still one of those like who did this and like who's the one who done it. And it's a really good. It's still another good one. So it's like if Rain Johnson, director, if he wants to keep doing these, like, dog, just give him the money to do it because
that's
it's
all he
like
can. That's all he should do. Just keep
because
running with him.
these things are so much fun to watch. They're just like a good time, and then like watching Daniel Craig as as Blanc,
Yeah,
as Benoit is like Blanc Benoit. It's like he just has fun with that character. Like I just think that man just has like a good time playing Benoit Blanc. Like just let him play that role all the time, and I'll be happy. So those are my top 10. Did you have anything else to say, brother?
no, 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 not at this time. Like I said, we Stranger Thinged it up, and we brought you guys our top 10, and we hope that you agree. And if you don't agree, then let us know your top 10. Reach out to it on our socials and let us know.
All right, so my bad. I just like went completely blind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's another episode of Popcorn and Perspective. We're glad that you took the time out of your day to chill with us and hang out and listen to our perspective. So if you guys got any topic ideas or want to be a guest on the show, don't be shy. You can email us at chantel.ashford@hotmail.com or the Hazel Eye Movie Guy at yahoo.com and reach out to us on our Twitter page as well at Popcorn and Perspective. Well, actually, sorry, that is a misprint. Our actual Twitter name is Pop. Oh yeah, I was right. Never mind. Pop and Perspective. I was right. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I had it as Popcorn and Perspective. It's actually Pop and Perspective. So there we go.
She gonna be all right, y'all. She gonna be all right. But
I'm
yes,
sorry,
yes.
y'all.
And for the next episode, we'll sit back and relax and bring you streaming gems, where we will discuss shows on various streaming platforms that you may not know about, but we think you will thoroughly enjoy.
All right, y'all. So, as we always say here at Popcorn and Perspective,
Watch the movies
love the movies.
and always keep them with you.
Catch you next time.
See y'all.